What would be the one thing that you would tell them about video strategy that would have the biggest impact on their sales? Is there a way to decide what platform it's going to be? I mean, between Facebook business page and TikTok and YouTube and the other platforms like Instagram, how do you decide where to start? In this episode, you're going to get to hear me have a discussion with Ben, who is here right now. And he is a I guess you could say he's an ex-online video strategist, but that's because video is just online now, and we don't say online video because it's redundant. He is a video strategist, and not just any video strategist. He has lots of clients from, as you say, the boring pharmaceutical brands in Australia to a myriad of other clients, which you can share. And he's a video strategist, and he's passionate about it. He's a video producer, an international speaker. He actually just finished speaking at Social Media Marketing World for his second time. And he's the host of the Engage Video Marketing podcast and a coach to hundreds of video strategists globally. And he's on a mission, which that's to help other creatives, marketers, and entrepreneurs and video producers better understand how to attract, engage, and convert audiences online with video. So if you're sleeping on your video strategy and would like to use video to make more sales in your online business, well, then listen up. Stay with us. Before we get into that, if my voice is new to you, hi, I'm QUAY.jo. I'm the new host of the podcast. I've been the new host of the podcast now for 4 or 5 months. So I got two links so you can see where Rick went, because you're probably wondering that. He's doing a really cool AI project, by the way. And another link where Rick interviewed me and kind of shared why he chose me or let me be the new host of the Art of Online Business podcast. But we will remain largely the same, as in you'll get tips and tricks and strategies and kind of behind the scenes looks and reviews of funnels and, of course, Facebook ads goodness so that you can scale up your online business from, let's say, low six figures to high six figures. And with that, Ben, it's good to have you back on the episode. Minutes for us, right? But maybe longer for the listener.
Yeah. Hey, QUAY.jo, I'm really looking forward to this. Should be fun.
If you're curious what we're talking about, Ben and I just finished recording another segment called Before We Hit Record, where we just get to know each other, because I feel like we don't really know that well the online entrepreneurs that we see on Instagram and follow and like and listen to. And so I decided to have that segment. And if you really want to know if you really want to get to know Ben a bit, head down below and there's a link to that episode, and you can hear us talking about life and family and vacations to Fiji is how you say it, though. I thought it was called Fiji, so I'm going to correct. Thank you for educating me. I'm going to correct that in my.
Oh man, I don't know. I just speak like an Australian, so I'll say whatever I want to say. Yeah, that was a great conversation. So definitely go listen to that, because we talked about all sorts of stuff.
All sorts of good stuff. But this time we're talking about online video strategy, and so I kind of want to start backward with a big question. And this should be an easy one, but my question is if somebody never heard from you again, and this was the last time they listened to you, what would be the one thing that you would tell them about video strategy that would have the biggest impact, positive impact on their sales?
I think it's simple. Stop doing video for video's sake.
Okay, what does that mean?
So I think the problem for so many businesses, whether they be traditional businesses or online businesses, is they see video as a tactic. So they see video as another thing that they should be doing, or another quiver in their bow, or whatever that saying is, right? So, and if you're just looking at video as another thing that you should be doing, but you're not thinking of video as a strategy, or as something to implement as with a strategy behind it, then chances are it's probably just noise, right? So doing video for video's sake is like, okay, well, Instagram's, going big into reels. Well, I better be doing some reels, right? Or, YouTube seems to be a thing. I guess I got to start a YouTube channel, right? So video for video's sake is doing it for the sake of the piece of content or the platform, right? Instead of actually thinking, in my business, and this is the strategic way of thinking, in my business, what do I need to achieve in order to move the needle in whatever way I need the needle to move in my business? And is video the right way to do that? If so, yes. What is the tactical execution of video that I need to execute on in order to make that difference in my business, right? That's the difference between strategy and tactics in my mind.
That's intriguing because I'm sure the listener heard that too when you said, "What do I need to achieve in my business? Is video the right way to do that?" I would have made an assumption that video is always the right way to do that. So, can you break that down? When would video not be the right way to achieve?
So video is a very powerful tool, and it depends on exactly what you're wanting to achieve. But when you're looking at content creation, or you're looking at, communication in your business, whatever it is that you want to communicate to move someone to take some sort of action in your business, because ultimately marketing, right, is about, connecting with an audience, connecting with someone, ideally an ideal customer, right, a prospect, and moving them closer towards making a sale, right? That's where business is made, right? When sales are made, right? So, but there's a process to move someone towards making a sale. It's not just like slap them around the face with a piece of content and they're going
Oh my gosh.
going to buy, right?
Right.
And there's so many people do it that way. But when you think about, is video the right form of content, then you need to actually like take a step back and go, well, what do I actually want to communicate here to that person to move them to take the action that I want them to take? And is video the right form of content for that? And often the answer to that is yes. But when you're thinking through that strategic lens, rather than just video is the bomb and I need to just be doing more video, then you're not really taking that step back and thinking, who is the person I'm trying to reach? What is the message I'm trying to communicate to them? And what is the action I want them to take? And then, from there, you can be more strategic about whether it's video or whether it needs to be some other form of content. Does it need to be a long form sales page, or does it need to be a blog post, right? Does it need to be, audio? Does it need to just be a quick text message? These are all forms of content.
Okay, that's making more sense to me. Is there like a tried and true way to, like, let's say I decide, okay, video is it for me. It's going to help move the needle and increase sales in the way I need to have sales increased. Or maybe I decide video is the way to bring in leads for to my lead magnet, but for my email list. Is there a way to decide what platform it's going to be? I mean, between Facebook business page and TikTok and YouTube and the other platforms like Instagram. Are there any other platforms? But how do you decide where to start?
It all starts with your audience, right? Really understanding your audience. So, there are seven, in my mind, there are 7 elements to an effective video strategy, right? So, and the first one is audience, right? And we can go through the other 6 if you like as well. But if you really know who your audience is, then you can know where to show up for them with the right message in order to communicate that. So the simple answer of, should I be publishing on YouTube or, Instagram Reels or TikTok or LinkedIn video is really comes down to, fish where the fish are. So, think, where is my audience at, and cast your net there, right? And start there. There's obviously ways to be across multiple platforms and still be effective, but start by reaching the people that you need to reach where they're hanging out, right? So you need to do that research into your audience and know where do they want to consume content primarily, and particularly where do they want to consume the kinds of content that you want to share with them. So if your content marketing approach is, more about education, right? So like teaching about Facebook ads or whatever, and that's what leads people into your ecosystem and therefore closer towards buying from you. Then, if it's education content, then maybe long form content and a YouTube channel might make sense, or a video podcast or something like that. But if it's more, lighthearted and humor, then maybe you want to go with more like short form platforms. Maybe it's YouTube Shorts, but potentially Instagram Reels or TikTok, for example. But there are certainly ways to educate in that short form way as well. But it depends on how you want to show up for people, right? So that's the kind of strategic decision to make.
I've been wondering then, because my video admittedly could use some improvement. If we're talking about video strategy, having chosen a platform now based on where the fish are, so to speak, where my audience is, I don't just want to throw up a video for the sake of, oh, Reels is the next best thing. I better get some Reels out there and hope I go viral. Like, what's like the process that you walk somebody through to on purpose choose a video that actually could have a great chance of working for their business to drive sales or leads?
Yeah, it's an important question and a good question, QUAY.jo. So, the second element, I teased 7 elements, right? So we
Right.
talked about
Here
audience.
we go, here
The
we go.
second element is
Can't wait till
goals.
I get to the 5th element. But,
Yeah, well, number 5, that's a little teaser.
right. If you wish that I could just hop into your Facebook ad manager and run your ads for you, or at least download all my 3+ years of experience into your ads so that they would run the right way, you pretty much got your wish. There's a new offer that I made, and my clients so far are loving it. It's called Facebook Ads to Success, and that means for you, I can coach you one-on-one so that you can successfully run your lead generation ad campaigns, your launch registration ad campaigns, even your sales funnel, SLO, self-liquidating offer funnel ad campaign. Here's how it will work. We will have 3 calls within 30 days. During that first call, I'm going to show you the exact ways to get your account running optimally. We'll do also like analytics setup if you don't have those set up right so that your ads can function the right way. We'll also look at your funnel and I'll point out to you the areas in your funnel that could be converting better. And I'll make recommendations about how to improve those areas of your funnel. And then if you have running ads currently, we'll look at those ads. Otherwise, we'll go through all the things you need to consider before setting up your ads. In between the calls, you get unlimited access to me. That means on Slack or Voxer or even Messenger, you get to record your screen or just send me audio messages or type something, but ask about your ads and I'll be able to give you recommendations right there. And then we'll set up the ads and then I'll show you how I check up on ads and all the moves that I would make. I'll walk you through those and teach you how to make those same moves so that you can successfully manage your own ads with confidence. Head to the link that you can see right on the screen to book your spot for Facebook ads one-on-one coaching with me. All right, back to the video.
So the second element is goals. So when you understand your audience, you then need to understand what are your goals for your video marketing or your video strategy. And when you think about goals, it's really thinking about the customer journey, right? So, to assume that the listeners or viewers of this understand in simple terms that everyone goes on a process to buy from you, whatever it is that you sell in your online business. And they don't wake up one day and just go, here's my credit card, buy my thing, right? What they go through a process of, awareness, consideration, and then conversion or purchase, right? So that's the simple customer journey or funnel in marketing terms, right? So when we think about goals, we think, well, which of those goals do we need to move the needle in our business right now? Do we need more awareness? Like, do we have a great product, or service or course or whatever, but the problem is not enough people are aware that we even exist. So that's an awareness goal that needs to be impacted. Maybe it's consideration in that consideration or that middle of the funnel, and I talk about the goal there being engagement, right? So that's about where you get people to actually connect, engage, and build relationships with you over a period of time, right? So where you need to show up with content that adds value to people. So like this podcast, for example, most people spend most of their time in that middle of the funnel in the customer journey perspective. So that's where you really need to nurture that prospect over time, and then. So if you identify that that's a goal that you need to be impacting through video, then it's a different approach than if it's just an awareness goal, right? And then we get down to the bottom of the funnel, which is the conversion end, which is like about moving people just to take that action and buy from you. And this is where, from an online business perspective, it's typically about content designed to sell, right? So sales-focused content. And this is where, when you're talking about sales-focused content, the types of content and the platforms that you use to distribute this content is much more rational, right? So it is about like the facts and the figures, the specific details of the offer that you're making for someone. So you do need to get the rational stuff in there in order to make that sale. But you're assuming, if you've considered that journey that people are going on, that they've already established some level of trust with you, that they already kind of know you. They've already got value from you through your other bits of content in the funnel there. And, now, it's just about, okay, well, what is this thing you're offering me? How much does it cost? And is it going to suit what I'm looking for? Right. So when we think about goals in that way, then it can lead to the third element, number 3, which is content, right? Because if you have established, okay, so I've got different goals in my business, and that's going to lead to different types of content that I need to create as part of a video strategy. So, for example, if you're looking to, impact on that awareness goal, that top of funnel, then most people are at that stage of the customer journey are thinking mostly about themselves. What's in it for me? They're going about their daily life. They've got pain. They're frustrated. They're annoyed by something. They want to achieve something, but it's about them. They don't care about you. So your content at that awareness phase needs to show up and be about them. It needs to connect on an emotional level with them and, help them understand that I get you. I've been there and I can help you get to where you want to go, right? So the types of content you want to create for that first goal of awareness is more like storytelling content. You need to, tell success stories or tell your story or tell it in a way that allows that person to be like, okay, I need to know more about this. So I need to go deeper into this person's world, follow their stuff, subscribe to their channels, listen to their podcast, whatever. So think of that awareness content as that ideal first point of contact. And how can you show up and, add value to that person's life in a way that connects on an emotional level first? I talk about that first goal, the type of content there, it really needs to get people to buy in to you, as an online expert, for example, before you ask them to buy. And buying in is a heart thing, right? It's an emotional thing. Whereas buying's a rational thing. And it's a different part of your brain that's connecting with that. So, if we think about that first goal, awareness, storytelling, emotional content, that sort of content, looks different. It sounds different. You use that in a different way on, say, your YouTube channel or your email list, right? And then as we get to the middle of the funnel, then it's about helpful content. I talked before about how you can add value to people. So it's education, it's inspiration, it's sharing, tips and advice and establishing that important thing in sales of know, like, and trust, So, in order for a sale to take place, someone needs to know you and like you and trust you. So that middle of the funnel content, that's the sort of content that is really just solid content marketing, right? It's helpful content. It's answering frequently asked questions. It's educating on whatever it is that you're an expert in. That sort of content, again, looks a bit different than your top of funnel content, but it's very important to get that sort of content out there in the right way. But because it's middle of the funnel content, QUAY.jo, you shouldn't be doing a hard sell in that content. It shouldn't be backed up with like, and buy my thing, right? Because the
Because it's
goal of
still
that middle of the funnel, exactly, it should be moving people towards that bottom of the funnel content, which is, again, that sort of content looks different. So when we get down to the conversion end of that customer journey or that purchase end, this is now bottom of the funnel. And this is where content, like I said before, needs to be rational. It still needs to, tick all those boxes of good emotional connection and trust and things like that. But it's mostly, this content is now designed to communicate what it is that you're actually offering someone. So this sort of content, for example, is maybe it's longer in duration because someone who's about to spend $2,000 on an online program, for example, they'll watch a 10-minute sales video, right? They'll watch something longer because it's actually telling them exactly what they want and it's overcoming their objections to purchase. And, it's doing that in a way that's moving them more confidently towards making that sale. But also that content from a distribution point that's not going to be on YouTube as a public video. That's going to be on a sales page, right? That's going to be right next to the add to cart button or the buy now or join the program button, right?
So
So
bottom of the funnel is
exactly.
not public, is what you're saying?
Well, yes, public, but not on a social media channel.
Sorry, not on the social media channel.
Exactly. It needs to be on a page that is relevant to that purchase, on a sales page or on a checkout page or something like that.
So counterpoint, what do you think of businesses that sell directly with their public videos on social media?
Well, I think that they're potentially shooting themselves in the foot, right? Because the problem is when you're consuming content on a social media channel, is you're not in a purchase mindset. You know, you're there to consume content. You're there to learn, to to get some value or to be entertained or educated, right? All social media platforms are set up that way. I mean, you can make an argument that maybe there's, particularly with, paid content on some of these platforms, you're able to, have like shoppable links and that sort of thing, right? But ultimately, people are on these platforms not to buy. But if you engage with a piece of content on a social media platform or YouTube, for example, and you're encouraged to buy, then there's always another step. There's always a click through to a purchase page or click through to a sales page. And then that's where you can lose people, not only in them not taking that step because they're distracted by the next video content that pops up, right? And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, I was going to take action on that, but now I'm watching a cat video, right? Or
Yeah,
whatever else
love
comes
those
up,
cat videos.
right? Um, but if that sales video is designed to be a sales tool, then it really should be on the page right next to a button that says I'm in. Click click and buy, right?
This is intriguing to me because I guess I had the impression, I don't know about the listener, but that helpful content and content that built the know, like, and trust factor, the very content that you described as the middle of the funnel, I thought that was top of the funnel stuff. As in, even I was cranking out helpful content on social media like there's no tomorrow, but that's not top of the funnel.
No, I see that as middle of the funnel content. So top of the funnel content can still be a YouTube video, for example, or an Instagram reel or, a LinkedIn live, but it's what you put in that content. Because ultimately, top of the funnel is really more around that sort of content that, shares more of that emotional. So more hits on the pain point, right? Yes, it might teach as well, or add some education in there as well. But ultimately, that first point of contact at that top of the funnel, this is assuming obviously that the funnel's very linear, right? And funnels are never linear, right? People don't always come in at the top of the funnel, right? But for example, if I was to stumble across this video, this podcast, this is middle of the funnel kind of content. This is, consideration, middle of the funnel sort of stuff, right? People get to know us and like us, and they get some value. They know we know our stuff, right? But if I was to follow someone through their middle of the funnel content, then at some point I'm going to want to kind of move back up the funnel to kind of engage more at that awareness stage with that online business, right? And this is where I might want to know more about that person's story. So what is their background? What is their story? Maybe I need to hear or understand more of their kind of success stories of their clients that they've worked with. That's more top of funnel content because that's where it's more about the emotional connection that I'm making as I'm moving through to make a decision to buy from that person. So ideally, that's the first piece of content they see, and they move linearly down the funnel, but that never works that way. For example, someone could come across your sales page, right? And a sales video is the very first thing that they ever see from you. Like, for example, if you're an online course creator and you are running ads to a cold audience and someone clicks on that ad and then they end up on your sales page, might they buy from that ad as the very first touch point that they've ever had with you? Maybe, but only probably if either your sales video on that page or your copywriting on that sales page kind of moves them quickly through the funnel. They go from awareness through consideration through to purchase because of the layout of that sales page. The long form sales page typically follows that same funnel of like, let's hit on the pain, let's establish expertise, and then as we go further down, it's like, let's help them understand that we know our stuff and build that trust. And then as we go further down, then your details of the offer, right? So it's the same thing, but that's a much harder sale to make than if someone is kind of engaged more naturally through your funnel in a more natural way, right?
It's, Makes sense. Before we get to the next element, you're almost a published author? Is that what's going on here?
It is what's going on, yeah. So, I mean, this has been a journey, QUAY.jo. I don't know if you've written a book or your listeners have, but this book has been, making its way out of me for years, and but really, over the last 6 months, I've really kind of knuckled down and I've been actively writing this book. So it will be out later this year. So in the final stages of finishing up the manuscript, and so yeah, look forward to getting it out into the world. And
I mean, that's congratulations. So, tell us about this book a little bit, and then we'll go back into what I don't think we're gonna cover all the elements. We'll have to let somebody find the elements. Do you have those somewhere that somebody can get the rest of the elements, or are those in this book?
Well, that's absolutely the framework of the book. The book is tentatively titled "Engage: The Definitive Guide to Video Strategy for Business." So it
Yeah.
really is the framework that I'm touching on here. We will touch on each of the 7 elements. We won't go deep into them, but my little teaser here that the elements are. Or we've talked about audience and goals and content, right? The next one's distribution, where you put that content out. Then we talk about optimization, which is what you do to that content on the platform that you're distributing it on in order to get the right eyeballs on your content, right? Optimization. Then we talk about metrics, so how you measure the success of that strategy. And then we talk about production. Production being how you actually physically make the piece of video content is the last element in those 7 elements, because how you produce the content should be informed by the strategic decisions you make on those other 6 elements, right? So that's the framework of the book. And we obviously go into some case studies in there and deeper into all of that. I do have an opportunity for people to jump in early before the book's released and to grab some free chapters of the book, just as a bit of a teaser of what's coming. So you can go to engagevideomarketing.com/free chapters and grab that.
Right on, and I definitely will have that link in the description below. I clued in on something. You said step 7 was production, right? Now, how does production change based on the previous steps? Like, what do you mean by produce a video differently?
So, that's where you make strategic decisions about, how you actually make the content. Is this the type of content that you need to hire a video production company with the top end cameras to kind of come in and shoot? Or is this the kind of content that should be a live stream? Or is this the kind of content that should be a, you know, shoot on your phone, while you're walking down the street kind of piece of content? There's those are the elements that you make a decision on, or even if it should be an animated piece of content, or should it be talking head, or should it be an interview piece of content? So those strategic decisions around how to make this content really should come from the decisions you've made on those previous 6 elements. And I think for my audience, we talked about my audience as being video producers, right? So the people who primarily kind of come through my program and my course are people who are producing high-end video content for their clients. Their clients are coming to them to get videos made, and they know how to swing their $50,000 video camera around and create some great content and fly their drones and all of that sort of beautiful cinematic content. But if a video producer is approaching every piece of video content for a business from a video producer's point of view, which is like, I want to make a stunning piece of video content for this client who's come to me to make a video. It's going to have beautiful soundtrack. It's going to have stunning visuals. It's going to be the duck's nuts or the bee's knees of video, because I love making video, right? But if you're creating all of your clients' videos like that, then chances are you're actually making the wrong video for what they need in many cases.
Whoa, I bet you see a lot of clients that are using the wrong type of video or the wrong thing or the wrong type of video production, huh?
Yeah, the wrong production approach. Absolutely. So, and I've heard countless stories from speaking to business owners themselves that have gone out and, invested in creating a video content or hiring a video producer to make a video. And the video producer has made a video that, looks great, sounds great, but it doesn't achieve the results that they want it to achieve because, it's the wrong video. It's being used in the wrong way. For example, and we talked about this example just before, for example, creating a video that's designed to sell. So it's a sales video, but they've just uploaded it to YouTube, and, it's, tells a great story, and it's, really, it reflects the brand. It's like a nice branded piece of content, but it doesn't actually get to the sale clearly enough, right? It doesn't respect the customer or the audience and where they are in that customer's journey in the right way. So those are the sorts of mistakes that can be made, right? And we want to avoid those mistakes.
So the listener who is sitting here and they've already started videos, because lots of our listeners are doing quite well for themselves in their business. They've already started video, but they've heard short form videos where it's at. So I need to make video for Reels and YouTube Shorts and TikTok, and maybe even put some on Facebook Reels too. What level of production do they need? Or should I say, what is too much? Like, what do they need for their middle funnel and top of funnel videos?
So the answer to that question really comes down to, what is their brand and how do they want their brand to be perceived by their audience? So, if you're speaking about specifically video content on those short form platforms, then it's important for your content to be what's known as platform native, right? Probably a term people are familiar with. You want that content to look and feel like it lives on that platform. So, we see even with platform native ad content or, paid content on these platforms, whether it's, vertical content that's served through Reels platforms, if it's paid as well, the high production value ad content, even if it's customized for a vertical frame, just does not perform as well as something that feels native to that content. So, an example of this in an ads perspective is, we have an e-commerce client, for example, where we produce some content which is produced on our like high-end video production cameras and, with nice lighting and all of that. But we also produce content on my iPhone. We go out and shoot content for our ads or for our e-commerce client there, and we shoot it on the iPhone, and we shoot it deliberately, which is hard for me as a video producer to shoot dodgy kind of looking video content on
Is
my
iPhone
phone.
content that dodgy now, though? I mean,
Not in the quality of the content, but deliberately, like, not framing things as well as you would, so shooting weird angles or being a bit handheld and kind of a bit shaky, like, so those kinds of things makes it feel more native to the platform or more natural and not an ad, right?
so you're reproducing that kind of organic video on purpose. Your excuse for the
Absolutely.
content. Wow,
And
and
that
that
kind of
works.
answers your previous question of, like, if you're producing your content for yourself as a brand and not for ads necessarily, it just needs to be real. It needs to be authentic. It needs to still deliver the value that you want it to. But, don't get bogged down by, like, oh, I haven't got a nice enough, DSLR camera or something like that for my, for my home studio setup. Just use your phone and deliver it naturally and get it out there, particularly for those platforms.
What camera are you using to film this right now? Just curious.
So this is a Canon M50 Mark II, which is my webcam, which is permanently attached to the back of my monitor here in my desk.
Yeah, me too,
But
me too.
yeah, it does a great job as a webcam.
They do, don't you? Like, you love the comments, "Oh, your video looks so crispy." When somebody wants to get more detail about what you've shared, where else can people connect with you?
So the Engage Video Marketing podcast is my podcast, and we're gonna have QUAY.jo on the show soon. We've got to do that, right? So that's there's nearly 300 episodes there that you can go back and you can dive a lot deeper into all of this stuff. Or engagevideomarketing.com is kind of my home for everything. You can link to everything from there.